Hello, everyone, and welcome to Blood on the Grand Strand, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition actual play. This is Epilogue 3, Embrace Your Hell. Let's meet our hellish vampires, starting with the Primogen.
Good evening, I'm Chris the Primogen, and I'm playing Anthony Tulip. It's a pleasure to be here.
Syrinx.
Hi, my name is Syrinx, and I will be playing Azaria Durand, grandsire of our dear Anthony Tulip.
Delighted.
We begin this epilogue with Anthony, seated inside of the House of Durand, House of Fencing, in Market Commons. You're seated in an opulent, plush, extravagant sitting room. The walls around you are reminiscent of the 19th century, all painted dark wood and beautiful gold leaf paneling. You're seated in a plush leather chair, or settee, as a French person might call it. Across from you is your grandsire. She invited you here tonight. It's been a few nights since the party. Things have calmed down, as much as they ever do on the Grand Strand. And although she's looking at you, it is hard to keep your eyes from the large portrait right behind her head, right above a cold, dead, but pristine and beautiful fireplace. The portrait is of your grandsire, but obviously from when she was alive. You see a blush in her cheeks and life in her eyes. You watch Azaria's Slachta, Marcellus, enter the room. He's still covered in bone spikes and a boned visor. He's carrying a tray of porcelain cups, and he places one in front of Azaria, cuts his wrist on one of his spikes, pours it into the cup. In front of you, he places only an empty cup, then excuses himself in French.
Well, Sherry, I would offer you refreshments, but I do think the refreshment Marcellus can offer are not to your liking. However, I can offer you some nonetheless.
I'm fine. I've fed recently.
As you wish. I'm glad you accepted my invitation. I think it's time we have a little chat.
Didn't feel like I had much of a choice, but here I am.
You always have a choice. After all, I have not helped you yet with your request, so it was not obligatory for you to show up here, yet you did. I appreciate that. And don't tell me you, as young as you are, don't have some curiosity.
You know, I've always considered it a bit strange, gauche even, to have a painting of yourself when you're still alive. I can understand even having paintings of your ancestors, but a large painting of yourself, that's interesting.
Well, one does things to accommodate the surroundings they're in. I think it fits what I'm trying to show here in the house, although it isn't finished yet, and although it doesn't have much life in it yet. The painting, well, it's a little bit of life in here. A show, if you will.
Constant reminder of the fact that you were once a human.
Constant reminder of my past. I would like to talk to you about many things today. Perhaps the past will be one of them. I am feeling generous. As I said, I see potential in you, and if gaining knowledge soothes your nerves a bit, then by all means.
Well, I'm here. You invited me. I'm assuming you want to talk with me. Let's get to the business at hand.
So impatient. Very well.
At that moment, Anthony, and of course, Azavia, you hear the clanging of swords. Antonia, you know, is in the studio, currently practicing with one of the students that you had told to come meet you in Myrtle Beach, the young girl who shows so much promise. You don't know where the studio is, Anthony, but you assume it's somewhere in the building.
I would actually like to do two things tonight, and I'm assuming you'll indulge me in both. I would very much like to have a conversation, but perhaps we can do that in more, well, different scenery. She will push back her chair, stand up. Follow me.
Of course. You are the host after all. I get up and follow my grandsire.
The rooms that you walk through, as Azaria leads you to, you assume, wherever this clanging of swords is happening, you can tell it's still under renovation. It's mid-paint, mid-decorating, but the only feeling you get from these rooms is someone trying to recapture perhaps the flavor, perhaps the essence of a 19th century French manor home. It is very likely that that is the era that your sire is from. Zaria, would you like to tell us what your studio looks like? And is it finished?
Yes. The room we walk to when we enter big double doors, it's a very spacious and not that decorated room. Obviously, it is meant for a lot of movement and little things that can get in the way of it. It is very light in the sense of there are some windows here and there, and the main color here is white. Large pillars and a high roof, and in the middle, I would assume, Antonia sparring with my acolyte.
Mm-hmm. Antonia and your acolyte stops as soon as you walk in, waiting for your instructions on whether they should stay or go.
Mm. When we enter, I'll acknowledge them both and tell them to take their practice elsewhere. I will be needing the room for a bit.
Wordlessly and quickly, they leave the room through the back entrance that leads to the exterior of the building. And now you and your grandchild are alone.
In the room, there is a kind of set of swords. For someone who has experience, they can see the difference in the swords. You have foil swords, you have épée, and you have sabers there, 2 of each. Azaria will walk into the room and take both of the upper swords, known as foil swords, very light swords. She will turn to Anthony, take a few steps forward, and hold it out to him. Handle first.
Do you take it?
I observe it for a little bit, and then take the sword. You must excuse me, Azaria. I have My sire, your child was not one to instruct me in much matters. I don't know if you taught him the art of sword fighting, but I certainly never saw him wield one. So I will do my best, but don't expect anything glamorous.
It's very simple. You take this sword, and we will spar in foil, meaning it's a strategic game. You do not just attack and move quickly, you calculate your moves. The tip of your blade, it can only touch your torso or the back of your opponent. So, you strategize your move, and then you lunge and attack, or you retreat. Very simple and not that fast. I'm sure you'll catch up quickly. With that, she will turn around and slowly walk into the center of the room, and kind of straight across from him, she will hold her sword up and motion to him to come and stand a few meters in front of her in the same way.
I will join Azaria. Reluctantly.
Is your intention to spar with him, Azaria?
My intention is to spar and tell him some things in the meanwhile.
And I would need a roll from both of you. Of course, Azaria, you have a modifier in performance, but that would be dexterity and performance. The same roll, of course, would be for you, Anthony.
I will do the roll again because I see my hunger.
Yes, please do the roll again. You should be at 1 hunger, both of you. And
Yes.
Anthony, it's been a few nights. Remove your final aggravated damage.
Understood.
Is that 2 successes?
Yes, it's 2 for me, 6 for Azaria. Yeah, the extra 1 for the first roll.
Well, Anthony, she's a little bit rough in the beginning. She expects more out of your performance, although you have said that you have no experience in swordplay. She is lithe, feline-like in nature. She has perfect balance, a perfect thrust of her sword. It's like watching a dancer, but a deadly one. And you struggle to keep up.
So, while we are attacking and retreating, Azaria will speak up, as if it doesn't cost her any energy to keep up the fight whilst telling the story. Perhaps that is a good point to start. My child, Anthony Tulip. You see, you are right in assuming that I did not teach him any sword fighting skills. He was embraced during the war, and he was, well, an experiment gone wrong. I never saw my child as potential, but he was what was needed at the time. Much like fencing has different ways of battling, and different swords needed for those ways. Kindred life also has different battles and different resources needed for those battles. Try to keep your balance in the back of your feet.
I will try. So he was just an experiment, just another mortal that you picked up and decided to turn into a kindred. Or, my apologies, a Cainite.
He was, well, promising at the time. He was eager to help the cause. But he disappointed.
Glad I did you the favor of getting rid of him then.
I'm glad you did as well.
Another check from both of you, please, as you continue your dance.
I will arouse the blood. Try to see if I can... Oh, well, I get hungrier. That is fine.
Is that... Okay, that's 5 successes for Azaria.
Oh no, I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh yes, I have now. Okay, 5 successes,
That is
yes.
5 successes.
2 from me again.
2 again. Although he already told you, Azaria, that he's not accomplished at swordplay. And yet, despite that, he is still doing his very best, holding his own again. Of course, he is no match for you. But he's trying.
Mm-hmm. So, tell me, how have you been surviving since the war, seeing as you came out of it?
I have been living off the blood of our kind. Seems only proper, considering our monster's nature. I've been hunting down and killing other Cainites, kindred. I have been working together with Hunter for a while, but before that I was traveling south along the coast. Does that bother you?
That is. No, it does not. One does what one must do. And kindred or kind both can have its advantages and its detriments. If I see potential in a Cainite, I also take them under my wing, just as I would a mortal. I do not differentiate much between them.
So you have no problem taking normal humans and just dragging them into your game? Even though they have no say in the matter, they're not part of this at all?
Is that what you think I do here?
That's what everyone does. That's what every kindred and Cainite does. They think they're better than humans, so they think they can do whatever they want with them. The fact that you're using the term kind, I know what it means. Think they're cattle. It's disgusting. That portrait out there of you as a mortal. You were a human once, but now you think you're better than them?
You see, what I do is find potential, but potential can be had, but wasted when not having a proper guide. I provide the guidance to, well, improve other beings. I provide them the means to excel. I was once mortal, and even in those days I had the same vision as I do now. So, kind or kindred, you won't see me just randomly embracing people because I think that makes them better. You will see me giving others guidance because that is what makes them the better version of themselves. Not the blood, but what they do.
Interesting.
One more check from both of you, please.
I'm going to do something before I do that. I'm going to use vicissitude to shift, I believe, is it 2 or 3? How many points can I shift in my physical attributes?
For you, it's 2.
I will remove 2 dots from stamina and put those 2 into dexterity.
Certainly hope you don't need it later.
Let's
It
hope
will
so.
affect your health track.
That's fair. I become hungrier, of course.
Does that put you at 3 hunger, Anthony?
Yes, it does.
Even as you spar with her, you can almost smell that exquisite blood inside of her. How tempting it is as your fangs descend.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
Did you
All right.
roll,
I will
Azavia?
roll.
No, I will still roll.
That is a mess.
And-
Ooh. No, that is not a messy critical.
It's a critical.
No, and allow me, because we are getting to the epiphany of our sparring,
Yes.
allow me to even spend willpower, because I still have 3
You
dice I
you
can
can,
roll.
but that's 4, 5, and 6 successes. But you absolutely can if you want to.
Oh wait, how do I think I only have 4 successes, right?
No.
You
have
rolled 3
8.
criticals.
You rolled 3 criticals.
Oh, okay, no, perfect. I will not spend I will not overdo it on willpower.
Really don't
again.
have to. With 6,
I really don't have to.
With 6 successes and a critical success, Anthony still is maintaining the same amount of a skill, of which it is minimal at best, but he's still trying to do his best to keep up with you. But you pin him down. The strength that surges through you, having a student, having one of your own blood, one of your legacy, actually attempting to keep up with you, gives you a subtle joy you haven't felt in quite a long time. And you overpower him. He falls flat on the ground, and you are on top of him, hand on his chest.
I guess you win.
I guess I win this match. She'll stand up.
At this close proximity to him, you see his fangs have descended, and that he hungers.
You try to control yourself so much, and yet I have seen you twice. And both of those times I can see your beast coming to the surface. And yet you refuse when a gift is given to you. How bizarre.
What's bizarre is that you think that just because whatever waste of flesh you created decided that I was the one to continue the legacy, that you think we have something in common.
But we do have something in common, whether you would like to see it or not. She will extend her arm and take one of her nails and drag it across her wrist and let it fall down.
You will the
Onto the
vitae
ground.
to the surface as it does not pulse in your
Yes.
body, and you allow one drop to spill.
Yes.
Oh, Anthony, your teeth ache at the very smell of centuries-old blood.
I get up.
This. I was just gonna say, this is what we have in common.
Azaria, I'm going to tell you this one time, and I'm sure you will remember it. As long as I'm alive, or whatever this mockery of life is, if I see the opportunity to drain you dry, I will do it. I hate you, and I hate every one of our kind. I'm here because I know that I am so tangled up in whatever plot you have that when you say I have a choice, the choice is either to run to another city and cower in fear or come here and meet you. And I'm not going to leave my coterie away. So, I will play along with you for now. But if I were you, I'd be careful with what tricks you were teaching me, because I will use them against you.
As I said, Foil, you move slowly, and you predict the other's moves strategically. I'm so looking forward to you learning the skills to try and take me on, because I've seen today that you still need quite a bit of guidance.
That moment, Marcellus enters into the studio. He speaks to you in French, Azaria, as he always does, and informs you that the other guests that you are expecting should be arriving soon.
She will take a step closer and hold her hand out for the sword.
Anthony, you have no idea what Marcellus said. You do not speak French.
Are we finished?
Almost.
I hand her the sword.
I take it and I put them back in the spot with all the other swords before I turn back to Anthony. With what happened last time and with what happened today, I am more than willing to teach you all that I can. And as you promised, once I help you retrieve your friend, as you called him, you will not obstruct my plans for you.
No, I will not.
I would just like you to formally accept to, well, become part of my legacy. You don't have to like me for it. You don't have to like any of us or any of this for it. But mark my words. Think about it. Because what I can teach you, no other can. So make your choice. And she will again extend her arm.
when you have sealed your end of the bargain. And I turn and I leave.
Marcellus directs you to the exterior door, the door that leads to the outside. Does not take you back through to the sitting room to the front of the building, and closes the door rather roughly as you exit. And as you begin the roundabout way back to your car, your Ford F-150 that you don't get to drive that often since Hunter has his Jeep usually, you get a phone call from the newly bought phone. Do you answer it?
Yes.
Hello, is this Anthony?
Yes, who's speaking?
You know the voice. It is Marcus. I'm sorry. Stella told me to call you. We are in a really bad way. She's in a bad way. She needs a doctor. It's complicated. If I give you an address, she says you'll come here. Can you bring a doctor who won't report us to the police or anything? Please, it's an emergency, and this is the number she gave me. I don't know if she's gonna make it. Hello?
Yes, a doctor. Yeah, sure. Where are you?
And we will find out what happens in Epilogue 4. Thank you so very much for watching, and we'll see you then.